Hi everyone, Matt James here, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my personal favourite top 5 Dire Straits songs. Now, I'm a huge Dire Straits fan. I have been for many, many years. And I'm a huge fan of the big hits like Sultans of Swing, Brothers in Arms, Money for Nothing, Tunnel of Love, Walk of Life, and many, many others, which were huge hits for Dire Straits, and deservedly so. They deserve to be as revered as much as they are. However, I'm also a big fan of so many of their album tracks, many of which I feel deserve far more recognition than they actually do. So the idea of today's vlog is to celebrate some of those album tracks that you may not necessarily know. My criteria for choosing this has been that I was going to choose the songs that I personally listen to, probably more so than any of the others. It's not been an easy decision because there are so many great album tracks that Dire Straits recorded, but I've managed to whittle it down to 5. So these, without further ado, are my personal favourite top 5 Dire Straits album tracks. At number 5 we have Iron Hand, which is from the album On Every Street and was released in 1991. The track is number 8 on the album, and it's a really emotive and atmospheric song which I've always found compelling. Lyrically, it's about the miners' strike which happened in the 1980s, but specifically refers to the police charge that took place at the so-called Battle of Orgreave, in which mounted police violently confronted strikers on the picket line. Mark Knopfler compares the violence to the savagery of ancient times.
The deep and strong, straight and true.
For number 4 I've chosen It Never Rains, which is the final track from Love Over Gold, and a suitably epic one at just shy of 8 minutes long. This is Knopfler at arguably his most Bob Dylan-esque from a vocal point of view, and lyrically it appears to be about the anger felt towards an ex-lover. It's got an absolutely brilliant guitar solo at the end which lasts around the 3-minute mark, and it's one that I often find myself coming back to.
I hear the 7 deadly sins and the terrible twins came to call on you.
At number 3 we have In the Gallery, which is the 7th track from Dire Straits' self-titled debut album and was released in 1978. Now this one has a lovely slow groove and bluesy feel to it that I just love, and some of the guitar licks are simply glorious. Now lyrically it talks about a sculptor who's called Harry and is presumably not the same Harry from Sultans of Swing. And Harry is not appreciated for his talent during his lifetime and only gains recognition once he's passed away. Apparently, this song is based on the life of Harry Phillips, who was the father of Steve Phillips. Now, Steve Phillips is an exceptional guitar player in his own right, and he's known Mark Knopfler since the early 1970s. Apparently, he taught Knopfler how to fingerpick. The two have performed together sporadically throughout the years, most notably as part of the Notting Hillbillies in the early 1990s.
Skating ballerina.
For number 2 we have Where Do You Think You're Going, which was originally on the album Communique from 1979 and is the 3rd track on the album. I've always loved the way that this track slowly builds up. It almost has a lazy feel to start with, and then at the end it kicks in with the full band and has an absolutely tremendous payoff. The riff that plays throughout is simple yet brilliant, and it sounds great, plus again it has a cracking solo to finish with. Interestingly, this song was re-recorded, and the alternative version features on the compilation album Money for Nothing, which was from 1988. This album was remastered in 2022, and it's the version of the song that you hear now.
I understand your changes long before you reach the door.
Finally, my number 1 Dire Straits album track is The Man's Too Strong from Brothers in Arms, released in 1985. Now, in my opinion, this song is as good as anything the band have produced. It is an absolute masterpiece. The atmosphere it conveys never ceases to amaze me, and I just adore it. Lyrically, it's a first-person perspective tale of a man who is confessing his sins for war crimes and the guilt he is now feeling. There aren't any drums in this song, but the production is so clever that you don't initially realise, or at least I certainly didn't. The rhythm guitar is what helps to create that percussive feel, and the use of keyboards throughout, particularly in the orchestral hits at the end of each chorus, just never fail to give me goosebumps every time. It's brilliant.
Call it belief. I have a run with the money. I have a hit like a thief. Rewritten history with my armies and my crooks. Invented memories. I did burn all the books, and I can still hear his laughter, and I can still hear